In the dead of night, deep within the canyon, a mountainside hundreds of meters high suddenly gave way. Countless rocks tumbled into the lake below. The crashing waters immediately surged, forming waves nearly 100 meters high. Following the riverbed, the massive wave devoured everything in its path. The day before the disaster, someone had already anticipated what was about to happen. It was John's last day working at the observation station. Just as he was about to go say goodbye to his colleagues, he noticed that groundwater in 2 layers of rock had suddenly dropped. Immediately, the 2 sensors lost signal. However, surveillance footage near the mountain cracks showed no unusual activity. Their supervisor reassured them, saying it was probably just a technical malfunction. But on the way home, John couldn't shake a feeling that something was wrong. Looking at the groundwater spilling at the foot of the mountain, he seemed to recall something. He returned to the station to find his supervisor. John explained that groundwater doesn't just disappear without reason. If the sensors weren't faulty, then the cables must have been severed. Mountains are made of multiple rock plates, with cables running through drilled holes into the deep ground. The only way these cables could break was if the plates shifted, cutting them. And if the plates moved too much, it could trigger a full-scale landslide. To determine exactly what had happened with the 2 sensors, John and his colleague Jacob flew by helicopter to the site of the mountain cracks. Fully equipped, the 2 descended to the deepest part of the fissure using cables. The area was filled with monitoring systems tracking both the cracks' movement and foot traffic. The 2 men then accessed the sensors at the ends of the cables. As John had feared, both cables had been cut. This was clearly not normal wear and tear. It was a sign that the mountain had shifted significantly. Their supervisor, however, believed the situation wasn't as severe as John claimed. He decided to conduct further tests, drilling additional holes to collect more data. John warned them that if the mountain slid, it could generate waves 80 meters high, erasing Geranger in just 10 minutes. Despite knowing the gravity of the situation, the supervisor hesitated. It was peak tourist season, and without confirmation that disaster was imminent, sounding an alarm could incite panic, cut short the tourist season, and worse, if it were a false alarm, people would lose trust in warnings when the real collapse came. The supervisor ultimately decided to keep the monitoring station running 24/7, observing the mountain's behavior continuously. At that moment, the mountain was still calm. They couldn't raise the alarm just because 2 cables had snapped. Reluctantly, John accepted the plan. He returned to his wife's workplace, preparing to leave with his family early the next morning. But his young daughter wanted to spend one last night in their lakeside home. John took her back to the villa by the lake. As evening fell, the staff at the observation station watched movies and ate dinner, completely engrossed. They didn't notice the unusual data flashing on the screens until someone accidentally spilled milk. That's when they finally saw the red warning indicators. Realizing something was wrong,